Hey everyone, and welcome. Ever feel like your computer is just some kind of magic black box? Well, today we're going to crack it open. We are going to decode the hardware, cut through all that confusing tech speak, and really give you the confidence to understand and choose your devices. I mean, have you ever been shopping for a new laptop and just felt that wave of total confusion looking at the specs? Or maybe you've just wondered why your current computer is suddenly grinding to a halt. Trust me, you are not alone. So let's dive right in and make sense of what's really going on under the hood. Okay, so to understand any computer, and I mean any of them, from your phone to a massive desktop, you really only need to get one simple process. It's this four-step cycle that powers, well, literally everything your device does. So here it is, the information processing cycle. It all kicks off with input. That's you typing on a keyboard or tapping a screen. Then the computer takes over with processing. After that, it saves the information in storage. And finally, you get the output, right there on your monitor or coming through your headphones. Input, processing, storage, output. Simple as that. Every single computer on the planet works this way. All right, let's zoom in on that processing step for a second. The absolute star of this show is the CPU, the central processing unit. You've got to think of this as the brain of your computer. It's the engine that's constantly crunching numbers and following every single command, making everything else happen. And its speed, that's measured in gigahertz, which is just a fancy way of saying how many billions of instructions it can rip through every second. It's all about how fast the brain can think.
So, if the CPU is the brain, then you can think of RAM as its desk, its workspace. The more RAM you have, the bigger your desk is, which means you can have way more projects open at the same time without everything getting messy and slow. You know that feeling when your computer just grinds to a halt because you have too many browser tabs open? Yep, that's your computer basically screaming for more RAM. It is your computer's multitasking muscle. Okay, so now we get the basic components, right? But how does that actually help you go out and buy the right device? Well, it all comes down to one thing: matching the hardware to what you actually need to do. So, let's figure this out. Which type of user are you? If you're a home user, maybe just browsing the web, checking emails, watching some videos, a solid mid-range machine is going to be perfect. But if you're a power user, a serious gamer, a video editor, a designer, you're going to want a top-of-the-line system with a beastly CPU, tons of RAM, and probably a high-end graphics card. And of course, for the mobile user who's always on the move, a great laptop or a tablet is going to be key. It's all about matching the machine to your mission. But finding that perfect match isn't just about raw power or how easy it is to carry around. It's also about something really important: making sure that technology can be used by everyone. And that's where accessibility comes in, and it's a field where hardware can make a really profound difference. And look, this is just a small glimpse of the incredible assistive hardware that's out there. We're talking about things like Braille keyboards for the visually impaired, or even devices like iTypers and sip and puff controls that allow people with very limited mobility to navigate a computer. These aren't just gadgets, they are literal gateways to the digital world. All right, so you've got your perfect computer. It's all set up, but what happens when things inevitably go wrong? Let's get into some super quick and easy troubleshooting for those really frustrating everyday problems. Look, all hardware is going to show its age eventually. But before you start panicking and calling for tech support, just remember that the fix is often way, way simpler than you'd think. With just a little bit of maintenance, you can pretty much be your own tech support and solve a ton of common problems yourself. Okay, let's take a sticky keyboard, for instance. Before you do anything drastic, the solution is often just a good cleaning. And if a key is totally unresponsive, try the simple stuff first. Check the batteries if it's wireless, or just unplug the cable and plug it back into a different USB port. A lot of the time, problem solved. Or what about the dreaded black screen on your monitor? I swear, 9 times out of 10, a cable is just a little loose, or the power button got bumped by accident. And if the picture looks all weird and stretched out, that's usually just an incorrect resolution setting that you can easily fix right in your computer's display settings. So now let's zoom way out, from our individual devices to the bigger picture. Because the technology that we rely on every single day has a pretty significant and often hidden environmental cost. Just let this number sink in for a second. Over 3%, more than 3% of all the electricity generated in the entire world is used just by data centers, those giant server farms that power the internet.
And that number doesn't even count the energy that we use to charge and run our billions of personal devices. It's a lot. And what happens when our devices get old and reach the end of their life? They become this: electronic waste. E-waste. It is one of the fastest growing types of waste in the world, and it's filled with toxic materials that can be really harmful to the environment and to people. And this quote right here, it just nails the heart of the problem. We're living in this throwaway culture where the average device is only used for about 2 years before we replace it. This constant cycle of buying new and tossing the old, that is what's fueling this massive e-waste crisis. So it sounds a little bleak, right? But what can we actually do about it? Well, the good news is there are some simple but really powerful choices we can all make to be part of the solution. The solution actually has a name. It's called green computing. And the goal is simple, but honestly, it's profound. It's to reduce the environmental impact of our technology across its entire life, from how it's made to how efficiently it runs, all the way to what happens when we're finally done with it. And here's the best part. Here is how you can be a part of it. It's about simple habits, like actually using your computer's sleep or energy-saving modes. And it's about making responsible choices when a device gets old, making sure it gets properly recycled or donated, not just tossed in the trash. Every single step, from how you use it to how you get rid of it, it all adds up to a huge collective impact. So now you're armed with all this knowledge. You know what's inside your computer, you know how to choose the right one for you, and you understand its impact on the world. The power is really in your hands now. Your next tech decision can be a more informed, a more sustainable, and a more powerful one. So the only question left is, what's it gonna be?